Today we're trying 2 keto-friendly, super exciting dessert recipes. I was scrolling on TikTok and I came across this recipe. It's by creator cc.serrano, and she makes a tres leches cake with a box cake mix. And I used to order tres leches cake every time I went out as my dessert at a Mexican restaurant. And when I go to the grocery store, I always see this. This is a keto-friendly yellow cake mix by Duncan Hines, and I've never tried it before. And I thought I could use this to make a keto-friendly tres leches cake. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So this is really reasonably priced. It's like $4.99 at the grocery store. It's got 4 net carbs per serving. It has stuff like almond flour, coconut flour, erythritol, allulose. I wanted to try this cake for so long and I never had a reason to until now. So we're gonna get started baking off our cake for our tres leches cake. And I haven't made one of these in a while, a box cake mix. It's usually really simple. All you'll need is 1/2 cup of water, 3 large eggs, and 3 tablespoons of melted coconut oil. So you preheat your oven to 350 degrees. You line your baking dish. We're using an 8x8 baking dish. We put a little bit of parchment paper at the bottom of our baking dish. We are going to stir in the cake mix in a bowl with the water and the eggs and the melted coconut oil. About 50 strokes. It says it on here. You're supposed to stir it 50 times.
Pretty precise. I'm spreading it into the cake pan with our tiny spatula because this is the only one that we have left.
Respect my tools and my household.
Because I broke the bigger one,
yeah.
And now Sarah resents me. We're going to spread this out nice and evenly.
We might not have everything here, but
we make do.
We make do with what we have.
Sometimes we don't use the right equipment, but you know what? We get it done. And it tastes pretty good most of the time. So if that's a lesson to all of you, it's that we don't know what we're doing, but we want to inspire people to just do it anyway. Is that motivational?
Sure.
I've seen other people do, because I'm a follower. So that's going to bake for about 30 minutes because we're using an 8-inch pan. And now we should talk about the tres leches, which are 3 milks that go into this cake. My Spanish teacher probably still hates me after watching this video if he does. The 3 milks that we're going to be using are heavy whipping cream, unsweetened almond milk, and keto-friendly sweetened condensed milk. We make our own keto-friendly sweetened condensed milk here, and we use the recipe by Wholesome Yum. We can link that in the description below. But basically, to a saucepan, you're going to put 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. You're going to bring that to a boil. You're going to add in a couple tablespoons of butter. You're going to add in some allulose or other sweetener that you like. And you're just going to reduce this down. It's going to have to reduce for like 45 minutes until it's nice and thick. And that's your keto-friendly sweetened condensed milk. So this has to cook down for quite a while. And while this finishes cooking, we're going to talk about the sponsor of this video, Super Coffee. If you know Sarah and I, you know that we love coffee. In fact, there are 2 coffee makers within 10 feet of me. Pre-keto, I used to be a very frequent Starbucks consumer, and I would go there and I would get a large latte. And the ones that I would order would have about 45 carbs in them, which is totally not keto. All of Super Coffee's products have between 2 and 4 net carbs per serving, which is perfect for your keto journey. Super Coffee sent out this box, and let me tell you, it looks really delicious already. I'm going to decide which one I want to try. I am going to be going for the blueberry muffin.
Well, that's what I wanted.
Too bad. I'm going to try it. Super Coffee only uses ingredients that are great tasting, great for you, and sustain you for the long run. Super Coffee's products are also paleo-friendly, gluten-free, and made with natural flavors sourced from plants. All of Super Coffee's products are sweetened with monk fruit, which is a superfood, and stevia. Smells like a blueberry muffin. It's absolutely delicious. I will be enjoying this entire container right now. Thank you so much to Super Coffee for sponsoring this video. Use our special link, drinksupercoffee.com/ketotwins, to get a free trial pack of Super Coffee's Tasty Pastry Variety Pack. Just pay $7.99 for shipping. So it's been about 30 minutes or so. We're going to take out our cake from the oven and see how it turned out. I don't know. I haven't looked in this oven yet. Oh, wow.
Smells good.
For a boxed cake, it looks pretty darn good. We are going to let this cake cool completely before we move on to the next step. Did I do that gracefully?
As gracefully as you can. It's funny, a lot of people mention the faces I make. They're totally out of my control. I don't even know when I'm making them. I get to see them when I'm editing, and it makes me really sad. We're gonna add in 2/3 cup of almond milk. This is unsweetened almond milk. We're gonna add in 2/3 cup of our keto sweetened condensed milk that we just made. And then 2/3 cup of heavy whipping cream. Those are our 3 milks. Next up, we're going to whisk our milks together. And then I'm gonna give it a taste to see if it's sweet enough. If not, I might go in with a little bit extra stevia. We do want it to be pretty sweet. I think it's pretty sweet. Our yellow cake is completely cooled now, and I'm going to cut off the edges very carefully because that's what she said to do in her video. So here we have our trimmed cake. I'm really excited so far. We are going to poke a bunch of holes in this cake.
There's a hole in this cake. What movie is that from, if you know?
Comment below.
Comment below.
So we're gonna just poke a lot of holes in this cake. You want the tres leches to be able to fully penetrate this cake. This is going to go into the refrigerator for about 30 minutes, and it's going to completely absorb into the cake, hopefully. And then we're going to top this with some whipped cream and some berries, and we're going to go downstairs and try it. We have our tres leches cake. It looks really, really good. For people who do not like moist cakes, this is not for you because it's sopping wet. So let's give it a go, shall we? A little bit of the whipped cream. It's really, really good. It reminds me of a strawberry shortcake. It's sweet. I don't think it's overly sweet, but it is pretty sweet.
I don't mind the wetness of the cake. I think it adds a lot of flavor, and I like that cream a lot. I'm a big fan of strawberry shortcake, so this is kind of giving me that vibe.
I don't think anybody would complain if you serve this to them.
And I'm glad that we tried that cake mix because I think that you can find that in a lot of local grocery stores, but we'll try to link it below if we can find it on Amazon.
Next up, Sarah has a really interesting recipe, and it kind of reminds me of a churro.
So I was scrolling around on TikTok, and I found a recipe by Food My Muse for toast bowls. And it sounds kind of weird, but it looks like the perfect vessel for some keto-friendly ice cream. So that's what we're going to be making today. So you can see in the video that she takes some toast and she covers it with some cinnamon and some sugar. And then she bakes it in the oven, and then she puts some caramel on top of the ice cream. So we are going to be making a keto-friendly caramel. We have used a recipe by Nom Nom before, and we'll be linking that one in the description below if you guys want to check it out. So your first step is to be melting your butter. You want to brown it so that you get those nice nutty caramel notes on the bottom. That's going to take about 5 minutes. So that's what we're going to do first. I'm going to be adding my butter to a saucepan. I'm going to be stirring it constantly on a medium heat. We're going to stay close and make sure to monitor it so that it doesn't burn.
You want like brown bits.
So in the past we have used brown butter to make a delicious pumpkin sage ravioli made of cheese, and we'll link that one in the description below if you guys want to check it out. That was such a perfect dish for summer or for fall. Butter has been browning, and we can start to see these nice dark bits at the bottom. That's what you want. We're gonna go ahead and add in our heavy cream, our allulose, and some salt to taste. If you use salted butter, you wanna skip the salt on the second part. But we used unsalted because that's what we had on hand. She actually said in the notes of her recipe that if you use salted, it actually gives it like a really nice salted caramel taste. So in the future, maybe we could try that. We're then going to stir to combine it and let it start reducing down. And this is where she adds in some molasses, but we don't have that. So Emily actually tweaked this recipe a while ago, and we started to add in a couple tablespoons of brown sugar swerve instead of the molasses, and it still gives that really nice dark flavor that you're looking for. So after adding all the ingredients, we stirred to combine it, and now we're going to let it reduce down for 15 minutes on a low heat, and it says in the instructions not to stir it at all. So all you have to do is watch it and let it go for about 15 minutes, but you don't have to stir it at all. So it's been cooking for about 15 minutes. It's become nice nice and brown. We're gonna gently stir in our brown sugar swerve, and then this is finished. We're gonna put it aside and move on to the next step. So next up, we're gonna work on our vessel for the ice cream, which is a toast bowl. We found this Sola bread at our local grocery store. They sell all these products now locally, which is really amazing because we used to have to order this online. We got the sweet oat version because since we're making it a dessert, we thought that this would pair nicely with it. So we're gonna be cutting the crust off of our bread, and then we're gonna be spraying it with a little bit of avocado oil. We're going to be sprinkling on some cinnamon and some brown sugar swerve, and then we're going to be taking a rolling pin and we're going to like squish it down to a nice flat piece. We want to be able to bend it to put it into our ramekins. So after we put it into our lightly coated ramekins, we're gonna put them in the oven at 375 for about 10 to 15 minutes until they're nice and golden brown, and then we're gonna move on to the next step. Are you recording?
Yeah.
Normally people say, action.
Action!
Emily just stares at me blankly and waits for me to talk. So I just checked it, and they are getting a little brown on that outside rim, but when I touch the middle, it's still wet. So we're gonna let it go for about 3 or 4 more minutes and just try to get them nice and crispy. Ooh, it looks so good. They're nice and crispy and they smell like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So our next step is simply going to be putting on some ice cream. We're going to be using some Carb Smart because that's what they had available. We're going to be topping it off with our homemade keto caramel, and then we're going to go downstairs and try it.
Now this looks like something that we would get in a restaurant.
Mm-hmm. The caramel is really nice and thick. I was afraid there for a second that it wasn't becoming thick. It really did become really caramel-like.
Mm-hmm. Very, very good. All right, let's taste our bowl.
It's a little hard.
A little interactive dish.
It is kind of difficult to cut through though, but I think if you gave it a second for the ice cream to make it soft, it would help with that. I noticed that the bread pieces were kind of small. We made a bread pudding with the same type of bread, and the pieces were considerably smaller than a normal sized piece of bread. So just keep that in mind when you're making this. It's gonna make a little cup, not a big one.
Smaller serving size.
Mm-hmm.
I would be happy if I got this at a restaurant.
I think it's the perfect dessert. And the good thing about that caramel recipe that we used, you can use a little bit and then store it in the refrigerator for like a month or so, which is really awesome. You can make that ahead of time.
And there's a really fun video that we did where we made Princess Diana's favorite dessert, keto. You can click right here and watch it, and we'll see you over there. Anyway, I'm Emily.
And I'm Sarah, and
we
we
are
are
the
the
Keto
Keto Twins, signing out.